Hello and welcome to this week's live weekly warm-up. I'm just waiting a moment here to make sure that the live is working on Facebook. Yes, there it is, and hopefully it's working on YouTube and everywhere. I'm really excited, as always, to be sharing another warm-up exercise with you. Every Monday, I'm keeping going with all the great warm-ups, and I hope that you all are enjoying them. I have a great time getting to share these things and hopefully help you to have something new and interesting to work on in your practicing throughout the week. So this week actually came to me because this last weekend, last Friday night, I got to play actual almost live music. I did a live stream concert with a new music group I play with, the Nebula Ensemble, and we were playing in a recording studio so we could be socially distanced and I wasn't blowing spit at anybody and spreading germs. But it was really interesting to get to play in this live way and actually make music in real time with people, because I haven't done that since like last March, or almost a year ago. And it was really fun and reminded me how important intonation is, because it's one of those things that when you're playing with a recording, you can hear it to some extent, but when you're playing live, it's a whole nother beast where you have to be really responsive and in the moment in real time and responding to the pitches that you're hearing from your colleagues and matching and blending and all of that good stuff. So I wanted to share a long tone exercise for you all that sort of deals with this topic of intonation. This is very similar to the tuner tongue test, which I did actually almost a year ago. I was just looking at it. It was in July of 2020. So maybe not quite a year, but 6 months at least ago. And that link is in the description if you want to check that one out as well. That's sort of maybe a precursor to this exercise. In the tuner tongue test, we play just on the mouthpiece and barrel and work on changing the pitch and moving it around. What we're doing is basically the same exercise, but now we're actually putting it on the whole instrument to practice our flexibility of voicing and everything, to really get the sound that we want, and most importantly, get the pitch that we want. This one would be an excellent exercise to do with a tuner. Unfortunately, I can't show a tuner on screen while I'm live streaming, so you'll just have to imagine there's a tuner, and maybe you could listen to my video with a tuner and see where my intonation ends up with me just sort of guesstimating. But anyways, the goal of this exercise is almost like a string player. If you've ever heard like a violinist tune, some do it this way, some don't, but sometimes you'll hear where they're playing their notes and they really bend it a lot. They sort of do like a and like are really messing with the tuning pegs a lot and moving it around. And that's exactly what we're imitating with this, and I think this is a great way to really actually hear where your pitch is and get good control over moving it to where it needs to be for when you're in an actual performance. So I'm going to start actually on high G, so the G just at the top of the staff, because that's a little bit more of a flexible note, though you could do this on any of the notes. And I'm going to do it on G, A, B, and C, going up through there. And basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in on the note and I'm going to try to play pretty much as sharp as I can. The tendency of the clarinet is to come in sharp pretty much always. For most clarinetists, when we start notes, they start on the sharp side just naturally. That's something that we have to fight and work on, and that's a topic for another video. But since that's the natural tendency, I'm going to intentionally aim for kind of sharp and then drop the pitch down, probably so far that I go quite a bit flat, and then bring it up and sort of find that sweet spot of where actually in tune is. So let me demonstrate, and then I'll give you a couple other ideas to get even more out of this exercise. Well, that was too sharp. So you can hear how the pitch is really changing. I'm sure this exercise sounds fantastic over the computer. Sorry about that if you're listening along. But what is important is that I'm able to get that control and place the pitch where it needs to be. In a live performance, there's all kinds of times where you really need to be sensitive and adjust. If somebody else plays a note very flat and you're supposed to be unison or in octaves with them, then you have to place your note very flat as well. And it's no fault of them. It's not saying that, oh man, everybody else plays so out of tune and you need to match them. It's a natural part of life, and hopefully you'll get the same grace when you play a note maybe a little bit flat. Hopefully your colleagues will match that as well. It's also true if you're playing a major triad, for example. Hopefully you've heard that the tendency of the third of a chord is to be quite sharp, so you have to place it quite low. So having this flexibility to be able to place it in real time is really important. We can't just play our concert A, adjust our barrel to get our concert A in tune, and then just not worry about pitch anymore. You have to have this real-time flexibility to keep track of everything and place the notes where they need to go. And that's the point of practicing an exercise like this. And again, I just did it on those 4 notes just for demonstration purposes, but you could do this on any note on the instrument. The lower notes in particular, you won't get as much bend to them, but it still works and is still great to practice. I'll try it on a low G just so you can hear how little wiggle room there is on those longer tube lower notes. So you could hear how there was much less range of pitch on that, but still there was a good amount of flexibility, probably at least 20 cents or more, where you can really slot it in where you need to, depending on the piece, depending on where everybody else's pitch is at. Now, the other thing that I want to say about this kind of exercise that is extremely beneficial is to do this with a drone. Again, unfortunately, I can't have a drone going while I'm doing the live stream because it's on my phone and all that's complicated, but this is excellent to do with a drone. So if we're doing that high G, then set your drone to drone concert F or that high G, and then come in sharp and you'll hear how out of tune it is, and then you'll go down and you'll hit a sweet spot where it's in tune, and then just keep going to where it's too flat and out of tune, and then bring it up and wiggle your way around until you can really find what sounds in tune with the drone, because that's even more realistic to what you have to do in real life. In a performance, you're not going to be looking at a tuner and trying to match a tuner, and even if you did that, it might not be in tune with whoever you're playing with. But what you will have in real life is hearing the other person you're playing with, and it's your job to have the flexibility to match where it needs to be with their note. So that's just a general tuning rant, but I think this information is really helpful, especially as hopefully sometime in the nearest future we'll be able to make music in real life and in real time with each other again. I want to just add one other thought on this. You probably heard as I was doing the change in pitch that the tone quality changed quite a bit too. And this is another way when you're sort of experimenting with your long tones that you can mess around and see how it affects things. So my sharp, super sharp playing was naturally a little thin because I was putting a little extra embouchure pressure on the reed, which raised the pitch and makes the sound thinner. And then as I dropped it down, the sound got a little spread because I was sort of dropping my tongue, opening the voicing, and spreading the tone a little bit. So the goal is to get it in tune with your tuner or get it in tune with the drone, also with a good quality of sound that you want as well. So there's all kinds of potential in this kind of exercise, and I think this has been sort of a theme of my long tone videos lately, that it's really good to just be experimenting with your long tones, listening to what's actually coming back to you, and really going for the sound quality you want, the pitch that you want, and all of that good stuff from the very start of the note all the way to the end of the note. So I hope that this has been helpful. I will be back next week with another live weekly warm-up at 12:30 Mountain Time next Monday. So thank you for watching this. Good luck trying this. I hope you learn some stuff about your intonation and see where your notes on the instrument are lying with your tuner, because it's probably been a little while since you've thought about intonation, since we don't have to worry about it quite as much when we're playing on our own. So hopefully this has been helpful. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next week.